Thank you for this introduction. This should be me on picture. Yes, yes, I'm teaching assistant at Faculty of Science and also software engineer at Visual Foundation. And this is my agenda, which is quite a lot, but we will keep just the basics on each of these slides just to see basic things about each of these topics, which is all on adversarial attacks. So let's start with main guy on world in AI, we can also say, but yes, I just hope that we are not going to summon a demon at the end of this session or at the end of this conference. But yes, this is something that I found a little bit interesting about Elon Musk thinks about AI. And yes, I think that there needs to be some restriction and there needs to be some regularization about AI because we have these adversarial attacks which can impact on it. So, like I was presented, it is just fooling machine learning models, neural networks and everything in some misleading our main goal, and this is to, let's say, makes our job easier or something like that. My main topic was on adversarial attacks on images, but today I will talk about other adversarial attacks which can be impact our life daily. And if you are not concerned about that, then, well, we need to talk about it a little bit more in person about that. So these are definitions that I found online. And yes, it is some manipulating machine learning model, always is manipulating, in some perturbation into the input data and make incorrect predictions. Prediction needs to be quoted. And yes, this is a real threat to our life. Imagine just, well, we spoke about Elon Musk. Let's say you have self-driving auto, Tesla or Google, and you somehow end on unknown places. I think if you watch Silicon Valley TV show that this guy end on different continent in the end, so this can be life-threatening for you if you end up in some unknown place. So, and if you Google adversarial attacks, this is something which is going to be on the top of your search results. So on the left, we have Panda, yes, and our AI models say that is 50% confident that is it. We all know that is Panda. And in the middle, we have some, let's say, attack, which we are going to add on this image. And on the end, we see completely the same picture, but our AI models say it's gibbon. Everyone know what is gibbon? Which animal is it? It's a little monkey that likes to hang on its tail. And yeah, now AI model is pretty much sure that is gibbon, but we all know that. So this a little misleading can be threatening just for the images. And there is something else which we are going to talk about later on. So what is motivation? Well, there is always good guys, bad guys. I don't know which side I am because I was making attacks for my master thesis, and now maybe I'm going to see what can be done to overcome this issue. But yes, let's say that a crucial developer effect defense against them, because if you are not worried about your life, then you don't need to worry about anything. So if you are going to be in AI, you need to be aware of these attacks so anyone can hurt you. So there is a few examples types. There is a white box, black box, so our attacker knows the complete model or knows nothing about it, but he can assume what can be, and there is some poisoning attack, manipulating training data to undermine the model or fooling the model into misleading input. So we can say that our cat is actually dog in our input on a training data, and yeah, our model is trained on a bad data at the start, and this can be a problem. So how it works? Well, I just put it in a 2 ways, but it is on more steps. But we are creating some perturbation on input data. It can be anything like these fooling images, or we can add now, we can say Latin A or Cyrillic A, which is more or less the same. We know the difference here, maybe. At Serbia, what is the difference? But maybe someone out the Balkans do not know the difference and can open the website with that Cyrillic A, and it can go through whatever you want. You can, he or she, it can download your credit card data or something, or take your money. And attackers use gradient information to modify. So what does it mean? They are not going to make input data problematic at start, very problematic. They are going to just to put small inputs, small perturbation, just to see what its minimal way needs to be done so it can fool you. And yes, let's talk about some examples. First one you saw, this is for the images, and there is a deep full attack now. So it goes step by step, calculates the minimum perturbation needed to misclassify. Every attack do this, but in some other way. And if you are familiar with artificial intelligence norms, this is something most interesting in the middle. So it generates the examples to optimize the problem, seeking also minimize perturbation while ensuring the example is misclassified. And on the right side, you see, let's say, a little bit confusing definition, but it can be, let's say in common words, every pixel in an image, let's see image, and we take the medium of each our neighbor's pixels to see what is happening with our image. Images mostly looks the same as the input, but it's not. And these are other. So there is one which combines L1 norm and L2 norm, and these boundary attacks as pair adversarial attack. This is just something that needs to, are more complex, and more or less, like I said, it is based on deep full attacks, just with some other features. Let's call it features. Yes. So, yes. Like I said, there is a consequences dealing with adversarial attacks. You need to have some ethical minds on your own to see, is it good that I do something to attack someone for the start, or you are just doing for the academic research and inform some companies, okay, your website or your images that you put online can be misleading and can be something that is very problematic for your users. Yes, we are talking about security breaches, and yes, health or life. Health is life, maybe. Yes, I found some example which I'm going to talk about in a few seconds, but about health data, how it can be misleading. So I read some article about adversarial training, but it is most expensive. Every training is expensive, but imagine that you train your model on incorrect data. And in just a few seconds ago, you see just 6 or 7 examples of attacks. So train in model of each of these attacks, it takes a time. And tomorrow, some guy, not me, comes, okay, I found the 8th attack, and your model is not trained on that. Or the next day, or Saturday, or Monday, there's going to be 20 or 21. So it is expensive, and most of the guys who did this say it is just for the academic research, and okay, I found model which is good for these attacks, but on the other, it's completely wrong. And input processing, so we can see, are there some data which is manipulated? Is this pixel okay in RGB data or something like that? And DSC to somehow filter, but yes, data processing and is also quite expensive in memorical processor data, or robust model. This robust model is mostly combined with the first one, but yes, we also what can be problem with that. And limitation, like I said, time. Everyone who works in AI knows that the time is a big problem for us. And yes, attackers can continually adapt. And yes, it can be easily, not sometimes, but easily can bypass on any input, or I can just resize my image. I will talk about images because the images is more kind to us, so we can have a good example of that, or for a text. So real-world application of this attack. So natural language processing, I also already said, your URL can have some UTF-8 or 16 character, which is not familiar with you, but looks very similar what needs to be done. Or in finance, there can be something about finance which can be attacked with something. Maybe you have a face recognition on your bank account that needs to, and someone can fool it very easily. Or healthcare, I saw that someone did attack blood results or something like that with healthcare, and yeah, you are healthy, but actually you are not, and you see how this can be problematic. And autonomous vehicles, so yeah, we are not in threat of Skynet or something like that, but if someone attacks our auto-drive vehicles, maybe we are not going to end somewhere. Places unknown to us, but maybe it can just drive into the wall or something like that. Or let's say your brakes are on, but are actually off and something like that. So yes, be aware of it. And yes, ethical consideration, yes, there needs to be something about it and needs to be talked about that. While I was researching on this a few years ago, there was some small examples, and now while I was preparing for this conference, I see that it's evolving every day, and there is a lot of, let's say, papers talking about this. And yes, practitioners are responsible for developing robust AI model system resistant to attack, but how I can know that is 100% secure or 19%, or which percent are we satisfied with? Yes, and now let's talk about something that actually happened. So someone was fooling Google Cloud Vision API. It is not a problem that I put in Google or any company. Google is actually awarding this. And actually this guy was, or this group was awarded for telling the Google that they can fool their API system, because Google is living on that. And okay, you found something that is vulnerable to us, we can lose money, okay. Good, thank you. Evasion attack on antivirus systems. Well, you are also paying antivirus system, or I hope that you do, and you need to be safe online, or when you sharing some data via your USB drive or something. And yes, someone is manipulating your system. Okay, this file is super secure. You can do whatever you want. Copy it on your drive and actually start something to do with your data that not to be good for you. And medical images, I already talked about blood analysis. Blood analysis have multiple numbers. Well, only doctors can read it, but someone, let's say, manipulates X-ray or MRIs. X-ray, well, doctor can say that your bone is broken, but actually not. Or something is wrong with your brain and you start doing to take some medication or that, but it's not actually everything is okay, or vice versa. And yes, let's talk about future direction. Attackers and defenders are always in the battle. I found something that is good for your model and I can attack, and you find defense mechanism, you retrain your model, okay, and I will come next day and see that what can I do to overcome this issue. And yes, field is evolving right now. Right now, while we are talking about that, because AI takes the word, OpenAI is a common thing, and yes, maybe some of you asked some question, and AI said, "Okay, I only have data for 2021." So that is, you can easily attack OpenAI model. Everyone did it. I think you saw some memes, but it can be actually manipulated to misleading and give you the data that is 1% confident about that. And yes, conclusion, my first conclusion, yes, it is, we need to be aware, if we are using AI model, we need to know that it can be threatened to us if someone wants to use our data or wants something that can not that attackers can benefit from it. Or yes, I'm not going to sit in the car outside or any car that is running on AI or something like that. And yeah, if you have more time for this and wants to talk about real data and something else for this topic, yes, please contact me on this email address or find me on this website. Thanks.
Thank you, Aleksandar, very much. Do you have some questions? Just wait for the microphone.
Hi, thank you for the presentation. My question is, how do you, like, if the perturbations are very minimal, how do you identify them for this input preprocessing defense mechanism? How can you recognize that an image has been perturbed?
Put the input that you know that is what is the class and see that is completely wrong, and confidence is very high. Okay. It is known for the images that the larger the inputs, that the model is less robust on it. For the images, that was my topic, like I said on the beginning. For the text, I'm kind of familiar with that, but not completely because I didn't try, and for something other that I need to do more reading about it. But yes, if you know the class, if you're using supervised learning, then you can. If not, then see what happens in 2 weeks, 3 weeks, and if everything is okay, it is okay, but you cannot be sure.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Some more questions? Yes?
So what kind of input filtering do we need to do to prepare our model for attacks?
Any filter that comes to your mind. Well, I know that some RGB pixels are not common for the pictures online. You have some, for the red, you know what is interval, and if it's kind of a little bit out of that boundary, you know that someone is manipulating. That for the start, yes.
Thank you.
Any more?
Or watch for the patterns. Some patterns that can be on 10th or 20 or on every 100 pixels.
Hello.
Yes.
Thank you for your presentation. My question is about the type of data which can be attacked. You have mentioned about the image data, but what do you think about language models? Because the input data is discrete, and
yes.
It's how
I was afraid of that question. I was afraid of that question. Yes, maybe because large language models are high topic or right now, and yeah, I'm kind of going to research on it because I need to be involved in some project that deals with large language model, and please contact me in a few weeks and maybe we can schedule a meeting, let's say, in that. So right now, I don't know. I know for the small, like as mentioned in the URL, what can be manipulated or something like that, but for the large language model, I need the time and see what are the previous work on that and what are current work on that. Mm-hmm. Sorry.
Thank you.
Yes.
Hello, thank you for the talk. So adversarial attacks usually work great when you have full access to the model or maybe just unlimited access to the API of the model. But how easy it is to attack the system which is closed or has like really limited access?
Well, it was black box attack. Attacker can know nothing about and there is some examples and proven work that it can be manipulated.
I mean, I was talking more about like a healthcare system. You usually just go and you don't have access to to the system on your own. You just do what you need in the medical facility. They process it and they give you result back, like this kind of thing.
Man in the middle attack.
Okay, thank you.
Somebody else? No? Thank you very much. We are very pleased to have you.
Thank you.
Thank you.